Hey, everybody. Welcome to Literally. Happy to be here. It is me, Rob Lowe. The great Chazz Palminteri is with us today. I mean, he is, I love one-man shows, and I love actors who realize maybe the phone isn't ringing early on, and so they take their future into their own hands and they create their own destiny. And no one has ever done it like Chazz did when he created Bronx Tale. So welcome my buddy, Chazz. Chazz, I was going to wear my Dodgers world champion hat today, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to start us off on an adversarial foot.
Right. No, that's all right. I don't. Listen, you guys are a better team. What can I say? You're a great team, man.
I saw you there at the new Yankee Stadium. I have so many thoughts. Let's talk Yankees for a while here.
Sure.
Before we get into all the other good stuff. Okay, first of all, I'd never been to the new, it's not new anymore, but I hadn't been to the new Yankee Stadium.
Right.
You're not going to like hearing this. I don't love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard that before. But I love it. I actually love it. But people who haven't been there don't like it. But, believe me, I went to the old Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, same.
And that was archaic, so I love the way it is. I love the going, or see all the pictures and I just
that's
love it.
Great. Oh, listen, that part, I have to say, okay, let me rephrase it. That is amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing the way they've done the history, the pictures, the memorabilia.
Exactly.
They definitely crushed that part for sure.
Some people, whatever, maybe it's not that cup of tea, but whatever. I don't know. I don't see that.
You're going to be even more angry when I tell you this. Do you know where else I had never been and I walked in and loved it? Is the Mets stadium.
Yeah.
I thought that now, because Shea was a shithole. Shea was one of the great, awful places on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And this new, what do they call it? Citi Field?
Citi Field, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice stadium. I prefer the Yankee Stadium, but it's a nice stadium.
The real question is, and I know this is the one too, the hits just keep on coming. Do you think Juan Soto is going to enjoy Citi Field more than he did Yankee Stadium?
No. I think he's going to miss that short porch. I think he's going to miss Judge being behind him.
Yeah.
I say right now, and I'll say it to everybody, Ron Soto does not have the year that he had with the Yankees, his first year with the Mets. That's my opinion.
I would take that bet. I agree with you, 100%. Yeah. Were you in? Did you go to every game of the World Series?
Yes.
Okay. What were you feeling during the now infamous fifth inning?
It's like it's a game of inches, and I go, if Judge catches the ball, if he goes to first, if it's one of those innings, you just say, how could this happen? And it's baseball, as they say, it's baseball. You just got to let it go, man. I felt, if you wanted me to be a diehard Yankee fan, I thought we should have went back to Dodger Stadium up 3-2.
Whoa, 100% you should have.
Yeah.
Did you, in that famous, for those of you who don't follow baseball as closely as we do, it's a fifth inning collapse which is historic. I feel it's a little bit like seasickness on a crowded boat.
Yeah.
Once somebody starts throwing up, it can easily spread. And when Judge made that error, that literally he makes that catch 500 times in a row, he would make that catch.
Yeah.
And you could just kind of feel it in the stadium. You could feel it.
Right, you can feel it. You cannot. The number one thing, especially in baseball, but the number one thing in the World Series in a playoff game, you cannot give a great team 4 or 5 outs. You cannot.
No.
You cannot survive that. You can never survive that. And that's what we did. We gave them 4 or 5 outs. And you can't do that. Not to a great team like that. No, can't do it.
I don't understand. I'm a huge Garrett Cole fan. I just don't understand that. That play at first was really the one. That was
he just
unbelievable.
It went blank. I don't know. It just, look, who knows, Rob? I don't know how that happens, but just wasn't our year. That's all. I mean, we're a great team, but it just wasn't our year.
Well, get ready, pal, because I would love to see a rematch, but these are new Dodgers. Holy smokes.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got...
It's exciting.
It's a joke. You guys have so much depth that it's scary. I don't know.
It's like the old days of Steinbrenner. I mean, George Steinbrenner would have done exactly the same thing.
Probably, but you know what? It still doesn't mean you could have the best team spend the most money. You know, if you've done it for years, the Dodgers, and they haven't won.
Yeah, you don't know.
Now they have. But let's see how it goes. Baseball is a funny thing. It's a funny thing, man. So
you mentioned that maybe Garrett Cole blacked out, and that anybody can do it. Have you ever been on stage and just gone blank? Because I have. Where you just go blank.
I mean, on like
stage.
A play?
Yeah, like if you were doing your Bronx Tale one-man show, or any time you're on stage, do you ever just have a moment where all of a sudden you go, oh fuck, where am I?
Yes. Yeah, then you just take a breath and you come back. But I've done that on stage and on Broadway, and that's how. It's like it's really maybe a second and a half until you get it back, but it seems like
eternity.
An hour. Eternity.
Doesn't it seem like an hour?
Oh my God, scariest thing in the world. It really is. But the main thing is just take a breath. See, once you start panicking, then forget it. Then you're done. But if you just relax for a second and take a breath, have I done it with the one-man show? A few times, but I know it so well. I just take a breath and then I go back. That's
okay. All right. How about this as devil's advocate? I think knowing it so well can kind of set you up for it, because you know what this is like. It gets in your there's levels of knowing it. That shows in your DNA. You've been doing an iteration of a Bronx Tale since 1988.
1988, yes.
So it's in your DNA,
right? And
you can think about other things while you're doing it.
Yes, and you have to be careful.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. The only thing that really messed me up once was when I wasn't doing the show. I went on Broadway to do the musical. And when I was doing the musical, I just played Sonny, of course. Mm-hmm. I sang Sonny songs and I played Sonny. That's it. As soon as I finished the musical, I went back on the tour and did the one-man show. And the first night that I went back, Rob, I did Sonny's line and I waited for somebody to talk back to me. But not realizing is that I have to talk back. I play Lorenzo. And I just stood there and I went, oh. And then I said, holy shit. Scare the damn hell out of me, you know?
Yeah.
Just scare the hell out of me. But I was okay with it.
It's kind of fun escaping from that. Like I remember the Great Escapes. I went blank on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
At the end of a sketch, where I had the line that set up the joke,
right?
That ended the sketch, and I went blank. And now there's no joke and there's no end. There's no end to this sketch, and it's live on Saturday Night Live. Right. I ended up ad-libbing, and we got out of it. It was Phil Hartman. I looked over at Phil. His eyes were like saucers. But you always remember those, and you kind of come away with those moments as an actor going, this is kind of why we do it. It's the tightrope, and you fall off the tightrope and you grab it with one hand, and you don't fall to your death, and that's the fun of it.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you that look, you've done movies with a lot of great big stars. Everybody goes up on their line when you do them. Everybody. Nobody just says it straight out. Yeah, we all go up on our lines. The idea is you just, once you know that, you're fine. Once you know that, look, I know I'm good. I'm not going to be bad. If I can't get my lines, I'll get them, and then we'll be fine. That's all. I don't know.
Yeah. De Niro has been a huge presence in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, he saw Bronx Tale off Broadway, right? Let me ask you, when you did Bronx Tale famously in the 80s and you blew up on the scene, how big was that theater? Like, how off Broadway was it?
It was 99 seats.
And you play 18 characters.
Right, 18 characters.
By my counting.
Yes. No, that's 18. Yes. It just, from day one, I've gotten standing ovations every time I did it. It's a feat. No one's ever done it before, you know. And I don't brag about anything I do, but except for this, it's one of those things. I just had this idea that an actor could do the script that he wrote and do the whole movie on stage by himself, and I did it. I worked on it for a year, and for some reason, if you look at it, I don't know if you ever saw the one-man show, but to see it in person. Oh, now you could see it actually. I just filmed it with 5 cameras, and you could see it on Amazon and Google and Apple, and it just came out. So you could see it live, or you could see it there. It's 2 different experiences, but people have go see it again and again and again, Rob.
Really?
Constantly, all the time, 30, 40, 50 times. It's
wow.
Amazing. It's amazing. It's like the Rocky Horror Show.
Yes.
You just come back. It's
when you wrote it, did you write it thinking all things being equal, this will be a movie, and then it wasn't, and then you're like, okay, what can I do with it? Fuck it, I'll make it as a one-man show.
As I was writing it and I was playing all the parts, I said, wow, this could be a great movie.
I see.
But I really wrote it to get an agent. You know, I didn't have an agent at the time, and I wanted to really impress people. And I said, well, I did Hill Street Blues and Matlock and Dallas, but I said, look, I want to show people my range, because I started in comedy, and I was with a comedy group, and I said, I want to do my whole range, and I just wrote something for myself, and it just exploded, man. I mean, think about it. I'm the only guy in history ever to write the one-man show starring it, write the major movie starring it, write the musical starring it, then write a movie of the one-man show and film it starring it.
Do you feel like, well, not, it was. I was going to ask you, does it feel like it was a shot from God, a shot from the creative heavens? And
absolutely, yeah.
It clearly was.
No question. I still feel it. When I go on stage, when I walk on stage, I feel like there's a lightning is hit. It's like this light that's coming down, hitting me on top of the head. Mm-hmm. And when I get off stage, I don't even remember what I'm doing, because I literally morph into the Father, the Son, the little 9-year-old boy. If you see it, you'll.
I'm dying to see this new version, the taped version. Did you? I'm curious, because I always find that it's very difficult to capture with cameras the experience of the stage, because it's a proscenium. No matter how you zhuzh it up, it's still a proscenium that you're dealing with.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right.
When you see this, it's not.
Well, I was going to ask you, what did you do to accommodate for that?
My idea was to shoot it like a movie.
Got you.
To shoot it exactly. I said, this is not a comedy special. This is not a guy on stage just talking. That's why I used 5 cameras, and that's why I did reshoots, and that's why I did 2 days. I did a live performance, and then I did 2 days of no audience, because I wanted to shoot it like a movie. Back and forth, you know, headshot, back and forth, wide shot, then cut in. So it's not.
It's a movie.
It's a movie, and people look at it and go, "I don't understand this. How does this work?" You know, it's like I don't read reviews, but from what some people told me, the producers said they call it like it's a magic trick.
I am definitely, and I can get it on Amazon, Google, and. When you were first writing it, it's you in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood has got, gangsters in it and everything else. Were you ever afraid to dramatize that? Like, how did the boys feel about it?
Well, the only pushback I got from the boys was when I first did it, and when I did it when I was about to come to New York. And I was doing it in L.A., and it was really a big hit in L.A., at a small theater, like 99, same as the one I was going to. I got a call from them, from one of them, and he said to me, we heard what you're doing in L.A., We hear it's been very successful, and we're happy for you. You're a kid from the neighborhood. All we ask is that you change the names." And I said, "Absolutely no problem." So I did. That was
Did
it.
you
That was it.
ever, so initially when you did it, you had the
Yes.
actual names and then you get the call and change them?
Yes. Had a lot of the real names in
Amazing.
it, yes. So I had to I changed all the names. Except for Eddie Mush, because that was Eddie Mush. And he said, no, I want my name in there.
Why are those names so great? Eddie Mush. Why are they so, they're just, nobody does names like that world.
Yeah, it's just honest. It's just honest, because everything he touched turned to mush. I mean, he was such a loser. I mean, he lost every bet he ever made. This guy. The joke in the show is he would go to the racetrack and the teller would give him his tickets already ripped up. I mean that's like, it just. In fact, nobody, the bookmakers stopped taking his bet because everybody would wait to see who he bet, and then they go the other way. And everybody was winning. So the bookmaker said, "Eddie Mush, I can't take your bets anymore."
Whoa.
And that was
He truly was the Mush, the original Mush.
The original Mush. That people have used that name now in
Oh, they do for sure. I thought it was in the. I thought that. So there was no like, oh, he's the Mush. Like, I know that's a part of betting. Everybody knows the Mush is the idiot.
Yeah, everybody. Oh, he's the Mush. Yeah. No, they know that's related to him. I got mushed. That's from him.
Wow.
I mean, oh my God. Oh, they go, he's an Eddie Mush. Eddie Mush, when he died, Rob, and it is hard to say this because people go, "Chazz, you're exaggerating." I'm saying when he died, and we all were there. He died of colon cancer years later after the movie. We all were there when they brought his the coffin out with everybody holding it. The hearse had a flat tire.
You have to be kidding.
No, had a flat tire, so they couldn't. So thank God the funeral parlor was very close by, so they just sent for another hearse, and everybody was looking up at the sky, going, "Eddie, we know you're there, Eddie." And so they actually had to change imagine that. And on his tombstone at St. Raymond Cemetery, it says, "Eddie Mush Montanaro." It says the year he died, and it says the original Bronx Tale.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
do you have an all-time favorite nickname from the neighborhood? I mean, I'm sure you put them all in the show, but do you have one that's your all-time favorite nickname?
The all-time favorite was Jimmy 10-2. And I couldn't put him in because Bob thought it was just too much. Jimmy 10-2 was the all-time favorite because he used to walk and his feet were pointed like 10-2. And he was like muscle bound, and years later he got shot in the leg and they called him 20 after. I mean, this is, these are characters.
They really are. They're.
Okay.
What do you attribute it to? Why? What? It's as part of that culture as anything else. That kind of.
Well, because everybody had similar names. Jimmy,
right.
Frankie,
Yes.
Tony, Vito.
That's right.
So if Vito was Vito Eggs, he was an egg salesman.
That's right. Because
Sally Fish.
that's right.
He was the,
Makes sense.
And that came from that, and then it came from if you had. See, back then there was no shaming. If you were fat, we called him Fat Ricky. If you had a big nose, we'd go Joey Big Nose. His son was Joey Little Nose. That was it. If you had any kind of incident that happened to you, there was Joey Mile Away. They called him Joey Mile Away because somebody broke into a second floor, and the cops put all of us there, and he said, and Joey was a known thief, and he said, "Joey, get over here." And he goes, No, not me. I was a mile away. And he kept saying, "I was a mile away. I was never here." And we were kids, and we kept laughing out, and that's why he got the name Joey Mile Away. Crazy.
What is your Bronx Tale aside? What is your favorite movie about the world, because I will tell you my two favorite movies of all time, both are mob movies, and I'm sure you know what they are. But what are your favorites?
My favorite movie of all time is On the Water.
Oh wow!
Marlon Brando.
Just saw a clip of that today. Just saw a clip today of that.
Great. One of the greatest movies of all time. In fact, I know it's Marty Scorsese's favorite movie and a lot of people's favorite movie. That's perfectly shot, directed, acted in.
I need to see it. I need to see it again. Mine is Goodfellas. It's my favorite movie of all time. And Godfather's 1 and 2. So it's like my three favorite movies. Yeah. I feel bad because my three favorite movies are in that one genre, but it is what it is. Those are the three best. I'm sorry.
Yeah, to me, Godfather 1 and 2 is I like Shawshank Redemption.
Great.
To me, that's up there too. I mean, great movies, man. Great movies. Great movies.
You're in another great one, Usual Suspects.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. Usual Suspects and Bullets Over Broadway.
Oh, man. What's it like to work with Woody? What kind of direction does he give?
He doesn't give direction. In fact, if he talks to you too much, that's not a good sign. You hope that he doesn't speak to you, because if he starts speaking to you,
you could be replaced by the next day.
You're going to be replaced soon.
You're going to get whacked by Woody.
I learned that right away, that you really don't talk to him. You really don't talk to him, because if you do, it's not a good sign. So he picks people that are the part. He just knew I was a writer and I knew that world, and he just thought I would be perfect for it. And he was right.
That's a great one. That's that.
Yeah. And A Guide to Recognizing His Saints, that's another one of my favorite. With Sean Penn and Meg Ryan and Kevin Spacey. To me, that was Hurley Burley. And then A Guide to Recognizing His Saints, that was with Robert Downey Jr. and Diane Weiss. So, yeah. So I've been very fortunate. I've been in a lot of
Wait, did you do Hurley Burley on stage?
No, I didn't do it on stage.
The movie.
I did the movie. Yeah. I was too young to do it on stage, but I ended up doing the movie.
It's funny. I wonder if it's still this way with actors, because when I was coming up, I was an LA actor. I lived in LA. I would go to New York, but I wasn't a New York actor. I'd never had the opportunity to do theater, but you were always aware of what was going on. And there were just these legendary productions that you would hear about as an actor on the West Coast. And Hurley Burley was certainly one of them.
Yeah. I started in doing theater, and that's all I did for years, and I loved it. And to me, it's a great training ground, and I still go back. Obviously, I'm still doing the show in theater. I do it at all these big theaters all over the United States, and I love doing it. I love being on stage.
How many dates a year do you do on the tour, and how often do you tour it?
I would say 35,
wow,
40.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I do that. Well, when I'm doing the TV series Godfather of Harlem, then I space out weeks there, and I don't do the show, which is nice.
Is it the kind of thing where you get your Godfather of Harlem schedule and you go, oh, I'm light in this episode. Let's see if I can I do a show up in Seattle or whatever?
Well, I tell them in advance that these days are rough for me, and they work it out. They work it out somehow, so it's great. But they work it out with me.
It's amazing, and you're still in New York. You're upstate New York, aren't you?
Yeah, I live in Westchester County.
Amazing.
Upstate, yeah.
I do. I love it here. Right? It's Westchester is very it's very similar. It's
Yeah. Oh, Santa Barbara is. I mean, if you're going to live somewhere in California, Santa Barbara.
That's what I say. If I ever move out of Santa Barbara, I'm moving out of California, and if I do that, I'm coming to like the Hudson River Valley or somewhere up like.
Yeah. I mean, I heard this. You got to tell me if this is true. This has been a myth, a legendary story. That Rob Lowe bought a house in Santa Barbara many years ago, and his wife is such a great decorator that she decorated this house that they bought for not a lot of money, which whatever, I don't know. And now it's worth $50 million. I I got to tell you, that's a
True
hell of an
story.
investment.
And we've done it we've done it twice. We've broken real estate records up here, and we're not.
Wow.
It's absolutely true, but we're not house flippers. Like, we're not doing it. We just build a dream house, and then for whatever reason, like the kids go to college and it's too big or whatever. And it's funny you say that, because as we speak, my wife is picking out trees for the yard of the one we're building now. So I'm at that stressful inflection point. You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh God, what have I done? But then you...
I always say that when I hate building. No, I hate it. My wife loves it. I hate it. Because it's always 40, 50% more than you
always.
Always. And you have to say, and you always say that same expression, might as well. This one is you got to come to see. This one is unbelievable. This is a property that was one of the original farms in Montecito, and it was settled in 1877. And my favorite, this is why I bought it, when there's a huge stone pine with a split at the top where lightning hit it in 1911. And I was like, that kind of history you don't really get in California so much. No, not
right?
California. Wow. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's true. I heard that story for years, and I went, man, Rob Lowe's wife must be some decorator, man.
She's got great taste. She's done it for other folks as well. I wish she'd do it professionally. She has a jewelry business, Cheryl Lowe Designs, which is amazing. But I'm like, honey, what about just doing houses? And she goes, I like jewelry. She's the best.
Yeah.
Chazz, this was great. I love talking to you, man.
Same here,
let's
man.
just mark on the calendar, World Series. Let's mark it. And then.
Yes. And I if I come out to Montecito, I'll definitely get in touch with you. I'd like to say hi, take you to lunch.
I would love it. It's been way too long. Always a pleasure. Good luck. Bronx Tale one-man show. Everybody go out, check it out. Check out the master doing his thing. It's a clinic.
Thank you.
It's a clinic.
And I'll be out in L.A. I'm going to be out to California doing a show. So when I do, I'll let you know.
Oh, fantastic. I'd love it. It's a date. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, brother. God bless.
What a great guy. I'm glad I didn't wear my Dodger hat, though, because he is a quasi-gangster. I mean, he knows gangsters. I think we know the guy knows gangsters. And, I don't want to get whacked. So that's why a lot of long hair and no hat today. Thanks for listening. That was super fun. I'll see you guys next week right here on Literally.